Hello fellow crafters, my name is George and this is the Spare Time G, and today we're gonna make one of the most frightening titans from the Attack on Titan anime, the Armored Titan. Yeah, to be honest, abnormal titans freak me out even more than shifters. Boop. So I start the sculpting process by making this frame, which is quite generic on my standards. I have used this technique on several sculptures now, and it is quite easy to make from bottle, of course, and paper and duct tape. And for the hands, I'm using simple steel wire, which is supporting the weight, but unfortunately Armored Titan turned out to be much more muscular than I was expecting, so it started to bend it a little bit, but that was not really a big deal, and I went with it without changing anything in the construction. But try not to make my mistake if you are planning to make something very muscular and having a big volume of hands or any other limbs coming out of the body. Try to make the frame, the part of the frame which is going to stick out, as hollow, I mean as covered with paper as much as possible, instead of making this just simple clay versions of it, because paper is much lighter than clay and it will not sag as much. Here you can see that I have added some layers of initial clay. Now unfortunately I have lost the footage of me getting to this level, and it won't be as difficult, to be honest, to reach it, as it is quite reminiscent to my other projects, just making a simple torso, arms, and the like beginning parts of the thighs. On this level it is not very important to make the basic detailing right on the muscles, as he's going to be covered with armor, of course. Here you can see that I have added some kind of lining on the muscles, on the surface of it. Those are the fibers, muscle fibers, which are supposed to be like partially visible in between the armor plates of him. And of course later I will be painting it into red color, so there is no need to be kind of careful or anything. Just go with it and try to make lines as you like, so to say, and as you think it is closer to the actual muscle fibers you can see on the anatomic class. So to get into the basic detailing of the model, I have also, right now you can see, made the neck and trap muscles, and I'm using this nice sponge I have got from my clay tools. Initially I had no idea in what I would need it for, but now I think it is quite a nice tool if you want to like blend and push all these small pieces of clay which come off as you try to line it. And it is quite easy to make them stick into the clay surface once again, because once you start painting it up it will be quite annoying and coming off the clay itself, clay model itself. So, and right now I need to color the base, like the places which are going to be in between the armor plates. So of course you can look at the pictures of Armored Titan and know where you have to paint, but you can of course go and paint every little bit of it. The downside to that is you will be spending a lot of paint, and at the same time clay is not really attached to the painted surface. So I try to be as conservative as possible into painting the right places, And even now it looks quite nice in my opinion. It looks like a fibered version of some kind of mutant from some kind of video game or something. And here you can see that I have already started the addition process, adding the the armor plates. I want to talk about a little bit more about the armor titan himself, so to say. So I will not spoil who he is or what he is. If you are starting the Attack on Titan anime right now and you may not even have encountered him, but if I remember, he is coming in the second episode, if I'm right. And the design itself is very nice, I think. And these armored plates are not covering the whole body, of course. It still needs to articulate more or less. So the parts which are staying still while you move have those armored places, like chest, maybe shoulders, like basic forearms and so on. Unfortunately, the model itself is not very accurate. So sometimes it has the armor plates in places where it shouldn't be, unless it will hinder the mobility in a big way. But yeah, it looks cool in my opinion, and I think we can sacrifice that. Now I'm pointing out the details I want to use the armor plates for. Of course, you can determine how thick you want them to be, and using that you can change the shape of the sculpture. For example, here you can see that the stomach is quite flat for this version, and because of that I'm trying to use a big bulks of clay to make this abdominal part stick out even further than it had been. I will use large pieces of clay for the pecs as well, to make the chest even bigger, and we'll do the same with the shoulders and the back side, the back muscles, because I think that the back on this particular level is a little bit not as prominent as the chest, so it needs to be going thicker. And because of that, this layering process is quite useful. For example, right now my biceps are quite big, so I will try to make the armor plates not as thick as possible. The least thickness I will be able to pull off, because I don't want the arms to appear larger than the proportions. And I will try to make the torso also wider. Here the Armored Titan version you're looking at right now has kind of like athletic look with the narrow V-tapered torso and big bulky arms, but in this series the torso is much larger in comparison to the whole proportions, and it can be seen in a lot of pictures. So I want to have a little bit of that look instead of this my favorite muscular and demolishing look. Here you can see that I have gone quite deep into making these armor plates, and also you can see that I have used separate parts of clay for making these big sections. And this is because I am trying to use my clay tools to make this kind of separation, which some parts, some versions of the Armored Titan has, and in my opinion it looks much better than the plain simple armor. I have done everything as I said I would, and the only thing is that I have messed up the painting a little bit. There are places where the red paint is not placed, and it is the simple clay color is visible underneath and in between the armored plates, and I will have to later go with the red color and brush and paint those sections. And yeah, right now it is going quite well, and hope to finish it soon. Here you can see that I have pretty much finished the armor adding process. In my opinion, it really looks crazily dope. I have also to paint the parts where the clay color is visible, but still I'm very happy with the armor, especially the chest and shoulders look sick, and the palms themselves are quite nice as well. I like the fact that they are not covered with the armor as much, so he can articulate his palms and be mobile, using it to lift things up or maybe making fists for punching. But other parts are more covered with armor, especially the frontal parts like chest, shoulders. Back is a little more exposed. I think that is because he will be facing with the foes frontally, so to say. Here you can see that I have made additional work on the surface of armor. If you can find out it right now, as you can see, the lines are blended together and they have more like angular look, as well as I have started the hair addition process. And right now I can say that the texturing work is done. The only thing what is left is to paint the armor into the yellow color, so to say, as it is visible and as it is used in the anime itself. So here you can see that I have started the painting process. It is quite hard to maintain the borders, but use the smallest brush you have and it won't be as difficult, I think, at least. On this scale, especially when the armor plates start to curve in and you can't see the basic edge where they are connecting with the red color, it is quite easy to omit places and don't touch the red paint itself, and it won't be visible that much. So yeah, here you can see that I have applied the paint on the left shoulder. And the paint itself is not a base yellow. I have used a tiny bit of white and mixed it to the base yellow I had to get this more like bright, not as sharp yellow look, which in my opinion looks more realistic and less cartoonish, if I can express it rightly. If you use the base yellow colors, you might get it not as you would like to be. Once you're finished with the body, you can start working with the face. It is quite easy to make as the armor covers the face up quite well, so there are not as much detailing needed as it would have been if it was a human face, for example. You just, for example, just used simple small pieces of clay and attached them to this piece, and then used my tools to straighten everything out and make the borders less visible, and got this effect, which in my opinion is quite nice. At least I'm quite happy with it and how it turned out. Now what we need to do is to paint the face in yellow and the hair in the white color, of course. And that's it, we're done. I'm quite happy with this result. In my opinion, it looks quite nice. The contrast between the darker red and bright yellow colors look neat. At the same time, the color of the hair is nice as well. The fact that the clay was not bright made the white color of the hair less more like a dimmer and not as bright as the simple white would have been, and it makes it look more like silverish, which is the effect I was going for, of course. The eyes look quite neat as well. Later on I might even add some kind of glow to it to make it even more badass. And yeah, this is one of my favorite sculptures so far, and of course I will continue doing Attack on Titan once the anime comes back. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I enjoyed making it. I'm a big fan of Attack on Titan, of course, and will be continuing doing maybe other titans and even characters, or even again some kind of architectural pieces because they look dope. And yeah, Have a nice day and see you next time. Goodbye.